Has your car ever had difficulty starting or continuing to run? Perhaps you've checked underneath the oil cap and there's a really weird white gunk under there. Maybe you've started it and there's white fumes coming out of the exhaust pipe. Perhaps your coolant keeps disappearing and you're not entirely sure where it's going. Today's video is going to cover symptoms and how to diagnose a blown head gasket. This channel needed an update, so roll that intro. One of the telltale signs of a blown head gasket is getting a mixture of oil and coolant under your oil fill cap. This super weird, milky, chunky residue is no bueno, and it's a bad sign for your motor. Yeah, look at that. This is a brand new multi-layer steel gasket, or MLS head gasket. What ends up causing the coolant to mix with the oil is a seal has broken around one of the cylinders, or a seal has broken around one of the coolant transfer galleys, and it's getting into the motor, leaking down the cylinder wall, mixing with the oil. Bad news bears. It's called an MLS head gasket because there's multiple layers of steel. Multi-layer steel. So on my 5.7 liter V8, this upper area seals around where the push rods and the roller bearings go. These are obviously the cylinder seals. These are bolt hole. I think there's like 8 bolt hole seals. These top ones are also bolt holes. And then the rest of the holes are water passage from the block to the heads. So if any of those seals fell or tube gap is allowed to be created from stretched head bolts, broken head bolts, broke threads, stripped threads, that's how coolant's going to get in your motor, leak down the cylinder walls, and mix with your oil. No bueno. If you're losing a bunch of water out of your radiator or your overflow tank, that water's got to be going somewhere. So it's either, you know, getting into the engine somehow and getting burnt off, which might be due to failed valve stem seals, or it's leaking past your head gasket and down into your oil pan. So one of our next steps, we're gonna have to drop that oil and see what we got. But first, let's give the old catch can a little peek, shall we? I have a little dipstick here on the top. Oh no. That is terrible. Super gross is what that is. So I already know this poor thing is gonna be full of nothing good. That's loose. Huh. Oh, I'm glad I checked this because my bolts are already loose. Oh no. Ugh. Well, that is what I was worried about. I've got the bad chocolate milk, boys. No. I was thinking some direct sunlight. So the white vapor coming out of the exhaust, the way that that's created is the water's leaking past the seals. Could be valve seals, I suppose. Could be just the multi-layer steel gasket seals to the head. One way or another, it's leaking to the head and it's getting dispensed with the exhaust gases. I found the water. I found the water. So without further ado, let's drop that oil. Probably mostly water by now, but let's drop that water oil. Oh hey, that looks mostly like oil. I have a sneaky suspicion that here in like 5 seconds, we're gonna get some different results. Huh. Well, I thought that oil would be a lot more milky, but it's not. So, having dropped that oil out of the oil pan and not having the bad chocolate milk in the oil pan tells me that somehow there's water getting into my catch oil can and not into my bottom end, which I'm grateful for. Glad there's not water in my bottom end. However, it leaves the question, how is water mixing with oil in my catch oil can? Well, my current theory is that somehow the coolant is leaking via vapor or liquid, not entirely sure, only into the intake manifold side and mixing there. My next steps, I can figure out a lot if I just take out the spark plugs, do a compression test, even though I really don't want to. And I can also learn a lot, if push comes to shove, by removing the intake manifold. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. So I'm just kind of checking over some things. So this thing right here, that's where my thermostat is. I don't see any liquid or leaking around that. Back here, there's a little seal right there from a hard line running. There might be a little wetness there, but it doesn't seem like a lot. It's kind of hard to say on that one. The thing that's extremely interesting is there's water sitting on top of my coil pack on the passenger side. My water leaks are definitely like right around the engine. That looks about fine. I mean, once again, there's like a little bit of moisture, but I mean, it's not like a full-on leak like you might expect. It's hard to say, but it almost seems wet down around this side on the driver's side. Well, I think I'm gonna pull some plugs and do a compression test, so let's see what we got. First things first though, got to put this car back on the ground and put some oil back in it because I dropped the oil. So after that, we're going to pull some plugs and do a compression test. All right, the first thing you got to do to start doing a compression test is you got to pull the fuel relay. You don't want your car to actually start on you while you're sitting there cranking and putting the power through the starter, putting the starter through some pain. So we're going to pull the fuel pump relay. And for me, mine's in the boot. You got to get this stupid plastic cover off. Now, if I remember correctly, mine's right here. So we'll pull that one, give her a couple cranks and see if she's still starting. Success, we've disabled fuel delivery. All right, the tools needed for a compression test are your compression test kit. If you don't know how to use this, I've done a video on it, go check that out. I got a ratchet with a swivel and extensions and a spark plug socket, so that's to get the spark plugs out. And then I've got an extension and a swivel and a 10mm socket on this impact, which I can set down to really light duty with Milwaukee's 1 key. And so all we got to do is unplug the physical plug, undo the two 10mm bolts, pull this out, remove one of the two spark plugs, and give it a couple cranks with the compression test hooked up and see what we're reading. All right, first plug removed on cylinder 1. You can tell that there's definitely a bit of oil, and it doesn't seem quite right. Like, keep in mind, these spark plugs have less than 5,000 miles on them. They probably have less than 2,000 miles on them. I just did them in a recent video. If you haven't seen that, you can go check that out. But these are definitely like a bit dirty, a bit fouled up perhaps. Keeps trying to start on me. Like right at 150. Cylinder number 4, compression test. It's about 151. A little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of time, whatever. The results are in. I have all 8 cylinders compression test. One newbie mistake, but that's okay. The results are interesting. A couple hours ago, I would have bet you money that I had a blown head gasket. But after getting the results back on this, compression test, now I'm pretty sure I don't. On cylinder 1, I had 150 PSI. On cylinder 2, I had 170, but I didn't remember to release the pressure in the gauge. So I pumped it up like a second time, and it added more. So it's kind of an outlier. It's higher. I'm not concerned. If it was lower by roughly 20 PSI, that might be a little concerning, but higher, not gonna bother with it. Cylinder 3, 148, cylinder 4, 151, 5, 152, 6, 150, 7, 159, 8, 153. So overall, she checked out extremely healthy. As you saw when I dropped the oil, there's no water in the oil, but there is a mixture of water and oil in the catch oil can. And there's a little bit of moisture in the back driver's side corner of our intake manifold. So I'm starting to lean more and more towards the problem above the block. The issue at hand above the block. The issue at hand above the block. That sounds ridiculous. Catch me in the next video, and we'll hopefully fix the problem for good. Thank you for watching. Be sure to double check all your coil pack plugs. Make sure that they are plugged in and clicked in. And if you did a compression test like me, definitely don't forget to put your relay back, or else you're not going to have fuel pressure. There's a learning curve.